the
I
age.
have a young spirit. And you have an old soul. Maybe that's why it works.
Nice. I'm gonna tell you, we are still men. We don't judge a woman based on her spirit. Sorry.
Hey babe. Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
I
wore my glasses today because I felt like we're about to have an intellectual conversation, and I wanted it to appear as though I am an intellect.
Nice. You couldn't even finish it.
I couldn't because it's funny.
But
It's
this
just
is
funny.
the thing. I'm now. You gotta be curious because since we don't discuss our topic in advance, each of us gets to choose.
That's right.
I'm wondering if I should wear my glasses, but all I have are my old man glasses.
No, don't wear those.
Okay.
Yeah, don't wear those.
They were $12 on Amazon.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking a margarita.
Oh, nice.
I am drinking a margarita with 1800, which we've talked about. I love, Grand Marnier. So it's a Cadillac because I was black. So we like to drink the Cadillac
margaritas. So I think I turned you on to the Cadillac margarita. I don't think you knew anything about it until this white woman entered your life.
Yes, you and Applebee's fucking changed my life. So what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Absolute Mandarin and tonic.
Awesome.
With some muddled orange.
Shout out to Jenny.
That's a little shout out to our girl, Jenny. But I really like this tonic because it's not as sugary.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
I can't think of the name of it. I think it's called like O tonic or something like that. But it's not as sugar. It's one of those artisanal tonics. It's not as sugary.
So yes, you're right. A white woman has come into my life.
The intellect is coming through right now because I'm wearing my damn glasses.
Don't say that because now you do. You really have me not nervous because fuck nerves. Mm-hmm. I'm curious about the topic. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, I was reading this article today.
Oh my God. Okay.
And it's a topic that's near and dear to our heart, I think. Which is couples that have a large age difference between them. Now, you and I don't have a large age difference between us, but you are 10 years younger than I am, which would make me a cougar. But it's still 10.
It's nearly 10 years. It's 10 years.
It's 10 years.
Let's go 10 years.
But the article that I was reading today, do you know this dude who, I don't know if you call him an owner of Formula One. I don't know that that's an appropriate way to describe it.
I don't know.
That he's the owner of Formula One, but his name is Bernie Ecclestone.
Okay.
He's 90 years old.
Nice. Better hang on, homie.
His wife is 44 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she's Italian, actually, from Italy.
You like no real shit.
The real stuff. Her name is Fabiana Flossi, and she is 45 years old, and she just had their baby.
Oh, wow.
But here's the kicker. Okay, so all of that would be enough to have a lengthy conversation, which we will, because there's plenty of other people I want to bring into the fold. But he's got other children, obviously. His oldest child is 65.
So his oldest child is old enough to be her parent.
Is old enough to be that child's great-grandparent, potentially.
Well, no. What I'm saying is his oldest child is old enough to be the parent of his wife.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. Hadn't thought about that.
Neither did he. Well, maybe he did, too. That's fucking... I don't... So what's your question?
I don't have questions. This is a topic for conversation because I have no question. Well, yes, I don't know that there's any you can answer.
I have a question. I think... First of all, hold on. He's 80. He's 90.
He's 90, and she's 45. So she is literally half his age. She is 45 years younger than he is. She just had his baby, which means about 9.5 months ago, he fucking climbed his wrinkly ass on top of her.
That wasn't the only wrinkly part.
Yeah, and conceived a child with her.
I would assume,
and she didn't mind that took place.
That was she didn't need to come. That was an investment.
That's right. She has solidified the heritage.
I would think
and the inheritance.
89 years old, like he literally should just be coming dust. Like she should, like there's no way.
Or flies.
It's nice. This are, but I'm gross.
Sorry.
I am fascinated.
I think glasses make me gross, not more intelligent.
Nice. But think about that. The thing that you're saying, though, when you bring up that age difference, you said it's just for discussion. I do have a question, though, just theoretically. Like, what is too old? I mean, too large age gap, not too old, because, we're 10 years apart, but okay, so now we are going to get gross. Maybe your glasses make me gross, too. We never think about our age difference. But the truth of the matter is, the only time we think about it when we go, oh, shit, when you were 20, I was fucking 10.
Okay, that's gross.
Okay, so let's vomit.
Yeah.
But the
That's
older you
gross.
get, the less those years start to become a factor. So I guess my curiosity is like, what is the tipping point where you can go, you know what? That age difference is just too fucking big. You know what I mean? To be with someone.
I think it depends when that relationship begins, quite frankly, because when you're in your 20s, if you are dating someone or with someone who is 15 years older than you, let's say you're 25 and they're 40. I'll use that. That feels like a huge age difference.
Huge.
But when you're 50 and the other person's 65, that doesn't seem as big.
Bad.
That doesn't seem as big to me. And so I think when that relationship begins, makes a big difference, because I'll tell you another one that, quite frankly, is really kind of gross to me is Dennis Quaid just married his Chippy.
She's 27. She's from Evansville. She's from my hometown.
Yep, she is.
So if her family's listening to this, we're about to get grimy.
So he is 66 and she is 27. That's a 39-year age gap. That feels huge. I think that would be huge at any age, quite frankly, because even if you're 40 and it's 40, that's 80. But it's a huge age difference.
And that's the thing. So I guess that's what the question for me that I was kind of positing was. I'm getting smarter. I use the word positing.
Well, you're not wearing glasses.
I'm not sure it's in the proper context. But that age difference, like there is going to come a point where a number does actually mean something. You know what I mean? Like, because at some point in time, for me, age doesn't matter if depending on your place and station. Like where's your place in life and stuff like that. Doesn't mean you need to make the same amount of money or be at the same or be at the same place professionally and any of that shit. It's just about when I think about it, I'm like, what experiences have you had that you're able to connect? And when there's a 39-year age gap,
and that's an interesting thing because you said it's about connection, because I think the thing that I often read about, because we don't really know anyone who has a larger age gap, that large of an age gap that I can really think of. But the thing that I often hear about these kind of, large age gap relationships is you fall in love with who you fall in love with. I agree with that. No, I agree with that. Okay. I do believe you fall in love with people, but how do you stay connected to a human being? That's the thing that I think can become challenging, because when you're 27 years old and you marry a 66-year-old dude, I don't give a shit. When you're 27, there's a lot of life left to be living, and there's a lot of experiences to be having that, quite frankly, at 66, he's already had.
He's been to the club.
He's tired. He's kind of like, you know what? I'd like to just chill by the pool at my house in Palm Springs. And she's like, okay, that's fine. We can do that during the day, but let's go to the club that night.
But think about that. Like using ourselves as a base of comparison. Your friends are your two best friends, or your three best friends. Two of them are, because they're twins, they're exactly the same age.
Yeah.
And then one of them is a year older than you, right?
2 years older.
So then of my three friends, I don't know, it seems that's so weird that we have that same connection. My three friends,
good number.
Two of them are the same age as me. I mean, we're within weeks and a month and a half of each other. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is a year less than us. Mm-hmm. So, but the thing about it is when you met them and I met your friends, I never felt young.
Right.
And they were like, damn, T, you brought an old bitch to the club. You know what I mean? Like, it was like there was the age.
I have a young spirit. And you have an old soul. Maybe that's why it works.
Nice. I'm going to tell you, we are still men. We don't judge a woman based on her spirit. Sorry.
Well, I had everything else.
But that's the thing. Like, I never felt that, holy shit, I'm 10 years younger than you. I never really thought about that.
Yeah.
But there is going to come a tipping point where you start realizing that we are very different. I mean, not we are, but people, that age difference is too big to overcome.
But I'm going to go back to what I said a moment ago, and again, we'll just use you and I as the example.
Yeah, let's rip our shit apart.
There was that 10-year age difference, but there were a lot of commonalities, which were this: we both had children. We both had children at that point.
Yes.
So we knew what that experience was like. We had that experience. We knew what that experience was like. We had moved to different cities.
Divorce.
We knew what that was like. We experienced divorce. We knew what that experience was like.
Bad credit.
And also, you taught me about that. And also, kidding, that was a joke. But also, I think 10 years is not so insurmountable where you can't be like-minded in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Meaning, I never felt like, because I was 10 years older, that I didn't want to continue to have the experiences that you wanted to have as a 10-year younger person. Nor did you feel like, oh shit, Juana wants to do it. That's an old lady experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
We were like-minded in that way. And I think a big part of that is because of who we are as human beings and people and our like interests, but also because, again, 10 years is not such a big deal. But for me anyway, when you start getting a bit beyond that, to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, especially when you are 25 to 30 years old to start and you're dating someone who's 20 to 30 years older, that like-mindedness, I think, begins to shift a bit.
And as I think about that, you're right. Like, that whole bullshit thing that men say where you read it like, or she makes me feel young. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's cool for a minute. Like, so I imagine like Dennis Quaid's. Oh, by the way, let me get this out the way. Dennis Quaid looks good for his age.
He looks amazing.
He looks great for anyone's age. He's fucking.
And we love him.
He's fucking 66 awesome. And he looks good. But in the end, it's like you don't. Her friends have no connection to the life that he's lived. Like,
right.
Because you think about your range of friends for a lot of people. Like, she's 27. So she has a 22-year-old friend. That's not super young. It's not. It's a 5-year age difference.
And it's possible.
But yeah, she's going to have let's say she has a friend who's 5 years younger than her. That's fine. But then if he has a friend who's fucking 71, when all those people are in the same room, what is that 71-year-old going to have a connection with that anyone get? And by the way, you should
probably won't.
Yeah, but you know, it's not like you ever, as I ramble now, but you never really base your relationship on how your friends are going to react. But anyone who acts like that does not have an impact whatsoever is full of shit. I loved that my friends loved you the moment they met you.
Yeah. Well, what's not to love? But
humility.
You know, that's right, my modesty. But you're absolutely right. Like, if you gather a group of people and you have his friends, and we won't use specific people. Let's just say there's a 65-year-old man and he's married a 30-year-old woman. Let's just say a fucking 30-year-old woman. And you gather his group of friends in a room and with her, and they're, to your point, they're 65 to 70 years old. Is she engaging in that conversation? Potentially, but the reality is that it might feel. I wonder how welcoming that group could potentially be as well.
I think they're going to try.
Quite, of course they will, because they're all friends. And again, and it's not about the male being older and the female being younger, because the same could be true the other way around. Quite frankly,
100%. Fucking hold on. Who is This is what happens when you do a podcast where you're actually drinking. Who is the guy whose wife is fucking older?
I'm going to need more specifics on that one.
Oh my God, is he not British or the Australian guy? No.
What does he do? Is he an actor?
No, like the guy who played Remington Steele. Not him. No. The guy who I'm sorry.
Hugh Jackman and his
Hugh
wife.
Jackman,
Yeah.
because
You said Australian. I don't know
Isn't
why
he
when you said
Australian?
when you said Remington Steele, I know that's Pierce Brosnan, but I knew exactly who you were talking about. I'm not entirely sure
I'd
why.
like to apologize for
Yeah,
trying to think and drink.
But she's like 13 years older than he is, because I think he's 50. She's
But that's rare though,
62.
because that's the other thing. Like it's like this thing. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg. I would know that's bullshit. I do know. Like there is this thing where men love younger women, which for me is always fascinating because I always liked older women.
Yeah.
Lucky for you.
Lucky me.
Yeah, I wonder what it is in you when you remove all the generic stereotypes, where you just go, what is it in you that you're attracted to this? Because when you think about like that age difference, think about being around our son's fucking friends.
Yeah.
They're all great. I've hung out. They took me, the last time I went bar hopping was with my then 27-year-old son, and I gotta tell you, it was fucking misery.
But you had fun.
I pulled an Irish goodbye. I was like,
That's
yo,
right.
let's get another round of drinks. I dished those motherfuckers. But that being said, I still was hanging around a bunch of 20-something-year-old men, young men. And it was like, at some point in time, we can only talk about so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that for me, if I thought about our friends who are of a certain age, if they brought around someone who was really young, that's where I would go, I can't feel like I'm hanging around with our kids' friends. You know,
and that's interesting because there is a generational aspect there, meaning there's such a big difference between our generation and our children's generation.
I think it's every generation. Yeah. But
Sorry. My point is this idea of a generation. So it's not just about an age difference, it's about a generation difference. And there's such a difference between how they conduct themselves, what their relationships are like, how they handle themselves, what's important to them, that is completely different
100%.
from who we were at their age,
Yes.
and then who we are today.
And maybe that's what it is. It's shared life experience.
Yeah.
So once you cross that boundary,
yeah,
I don't know that there are going to be things that I can understand, because you think about whenever you're around people, whether they are working for you or, like I said, it's our kids' friends. It's like at some point in time, the way they approach things feel very young and immature. It's silly.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, the way that we believe things should be done
feels old-fashioned to them.
They're going to be like,
yeah,
what the
for
fuck?
sure.
No one does.
For sure.
No one does that anymore.
But I have a question for you, because you said something earlier that I kept in my head because I wanted to ask about it, which was when we first started talking about this, and we talked in particular with men. We'll just say that I think anyway, in particular with men, older men with younger women. Yes. And you said something along the lines of, they'll often say, "Oh, she keeps me young."
Right.
What do you think they're speaking about when they say that? Because I'll tell you what I think as a woman.
But I'll tell you what I know exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think they mean is that they're having.
Let me tell you what I think.
Okay, go ahead.
And then you tell me if you agree.
Okay, go ahead.
It is
go
from
ahead.
A man's perspective. Men like men like to be interesting in a way that this is all dealing with generalities. Women like to feel beautiful and wanted. A man wants to feel interesting. So how many times have I said, I don't know if I've ever told you this story, and you're like, yeah, you've told me all the fucking stories. Like, but I'm fine with that.
You have told me all
I don't mind living in reruns. I'll fucking tell you the story for the third time. You watch Friends like all the time. I will rock that same story over and over. But the thing about it is, I know men like to feel interesting and feel energized, and let's get up and do something. And when you're in a relationship, regardless of your age, if you start veering apart, there's likelihoods that you don't want to go to the same places. You don't want to do the same things. And a lot of it is this self-fulfilling prophecy, like, oh man, we just don't connect anymore. And so all of a sudden you find this woman, like, think about who Dennis Quaid was actually married to. He was married to Meg Ryan, who was a bigger celebrity than he was.
100%.
But yet he gets to come around her friend, this new wife's friends, and oh my God, you're fucking Dennis Quaid. Like,
do you think they even know who he is, though?
Well, yeah. I mean, they know who Santa Claus is. Like, he's old as fuck. But yeah, but they
No, I'm serious. Like, is in their cipher? Is he in their cipher?
Well, no, he is a celebrity, and even if they don't know, whenever he invites them, whenever her friends are going to come to town, this is all theory. We don't know if this has happened, but even for Dennis Quaid, they're coming to his home. They're going to see his nice home, Rancho Cucamonga, or where the fuck he lives. And then
Calabasas.
And he's old, so what's he gonna do? He's gonna go to fucking that the old guys, the pizza place down on Beverly Boulevard in Beverly Hills.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because
I'm not an old dude. I don't go there.
But you're gonna go. If I said his name, anyway, you're gonna go to those place and you're gonna sit down.
Oh, Spago.
Thank you. You did know. See,
yeah.
It's fucking old people fucking Jeopardy. What is Spago? But no, you're gonna go there, and everyone's gonna know them. And and the guy she might have been dating before worked at fucking Pizza Hut. So even that alone would make her friends go, "Holy shit!" If they don't know who he is, they're gonna know he is somebody.
And that's interesting because I think I'm in agreement with you. It's not what I was going to say, but I'm in agreement with you because I do think that the moment she started talking about to her friends, and we'll just assume, and again, this is not about them in particular, but
we'll make it about them. They're not friends with us. That motherfucker don't pay our rent.
He doesn't, and he'll never hear this. And if he does,
I'll tag him.
Listen, we'd love to have you come on and argue the point. But so I agree with your point. It's not what I was going to say before, but what I will say is the moment she told her friends, oh my God, guys, I'm dating Dennis Quaid. They were like, who? And here's what happened. And she'll be like, he was the dude in X, Y, and Z. I don't even know what it was.
I can't even give a good movie.
Me neither.
Dennis Quaid movie.
Because he's that dude who was in everything. And they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. How is it? Like, is he in movies or is he in television? Like, they'll start to ask to understand who he is. And then they'll Google him. Maybe they'll watch some of the movies he was in. And the only thing that they will be excited about is not that she's in a relationship with him, that she is their friend. Because now they get to somehow be connected to that.
They get to because
it goes back to your point. No, because it becomes your point, which is now they'll get invited to something.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they'll get invited to his home. Premiere. Maybe they'll get invited to his boat. Maybe they'll go to the wedding, which is at wherever the fuck they had it in Hawaii. They had it in Hawaii, so they'll get invited to that.
Other famous people.
And they'll see other famous people. Can
you believe she was there?
Not his brother though. His brother wasn't there.
Oh no, I didn't know Randy was there. Hell no, I think he was probably in lockdown. But he was probably hanging out with my cousins.
You get my point, right? So it becomes now these degrees of separation. Right. So it becomes this thing of, oh wait, I'm connected to you. You're dating him. That puts me in that puts me in
good point.
A circle. It's possible.
I'm gonna need a refill so we can fucking discuss this because I'm gonna need some more of this.
Yeah.
Want to get a refill?
Let's pause.
Let's do it. We are going through extremely difficult times in our country right now.
Terrence and I are doing our part to fight for justice, and we'd like to encourage you to do the same, whether that's marching, protesting, or donating.
In the description for Drinks with My Wife, we'll have a link to Black Lives Matter and a variety of other charities where you can give. Thank you for joining Drinks with My Wife.
Thanks. All right, great. We are back. We've gotten a refill. Hope you did too.
Went to the restroom, whatever you had to do.
Whatever you needed to do during our commercial break.
Exactly. But you know what? While we were refilling our drinks, I had another question though. Like, get back on the topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
At your current age, what would be too old and too young?
Interesting. So that's an interesting question.
I feel like there's going to be some follow-up questions on your part.
Yeah. Because I do think it depends, quite frankly. I think it depends. All right, let me ask this question.
I knew it was coming. For those who have been listening, one always has follow-up questions.
I do have questions. Are we talking about for a relationship?
No, I'm not. Yes, I'm not talking about who are you going to bang in your free time. I'm talking about like a relationship.
Yeah, because as long as they're legal, that would be okay.
Like, a southern phrase, if she's old enough to go to the store, she's old enough to get bread. sorry. I am
All
sorry.
right.
I'm sorry.
So I would say, I think quite frankly, the oldest I would go is probably around 5 years.
Okay.
And the youngest I would go is probably 10.
Okay, so oh my God! So if you're out there, anyone who's got a crush on Wanda, and you try to get down, wait for me to check out. You're right in her.
No,
fucking
10 years
warehouse.
younger. That's what you are. So
That's what I'm saying.
That's
So
how much younger I would go.
So, but what
I'm not
created?
saying I'm seeking it out. I'm just saying.
Exactly. What dictated those parameters?
So a couple of things. When I think about, well, the 10 years younger is easy, right? You're 10 years younger, and it feels like to me anything younger than that could potentially be someone who doesn't have children, quite frankly, doesn't know what that experience is like. And also, I can't be with someone who wants to have children, right? Because that's not happening.
See, that's a parameter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less of the number. So I get that. That's less of a number.
But the thing about older is I am a homebody at heart.
Word.
Right? Like we really enjoy being at home. However, I do have energy. I have a lot of energy.
You have more energy than I do. Actually.
And so I need someone who can be at that same level of energy.
Right.
You say that about yourself, but the reality is that if I want to do something, you're like, yeah, babe, if you want to do it, that's totally fine. You're up for it and you're totally down.
I'm a homebody, but if you tell me like you want to do something, I'm in.
Yes, exactly. And I can't have somebody who's like, no, I'm tired. I don't want to do that.
I'm too old.
Yeah, I just want to lay on the couch and watch TV. You know what I mean? So that. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be doing that. Like, I want someone who wants to still have experiences and to be doing things and to be sharing in that.
And so, theoretically, because that's all this is, after a certain age, after a certain age gap, you feel like they may not be that person who's willing to get down like that.
I would never make a blanket statement about an age group.
Right.
To say that, if you're X age,
you no
longer want that. I'm just saying that for me, it feels like I don't think I can go more than 5 years because my concern might be, unless they proved otherwise, quite frankly.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
I do. And it's the thing about connection. Like, so in my frame, it would be no more than 10 years older. Look at us protecting our relationship like we're fucking insecure.
No, I was being honest. I wasn't.
No, I'm saying, and when I'm saying that, it's like I feel like 10 years is a tipping point. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not as though whenever, as we mentioned earlier, like if you had told me that you were 12 years older than me, I was like, oh, fuck that bullshit. I'm talking about like meeting someone anew, and quite honest, you know what? It's not a matter of being honest. It's a moment of realization. Like, if I met someone at this stage in my life, you're no longer in my life somehow. But if they're more than 5 years older than me, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And quite honest, in the younger version, for a relationship, I mean, it's 5 years on either side for me.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but it's what you said earlier. Like, when you say like I'm an old soul, like one of the things I liked about you was that you had a certain level of life experience. Now, that being said, that life experience has to be connected to a number. So yes, you had a child, you were divorced, and you had moved across the country. But even if she's done all that shit at 24. Fuck that shit.
I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's just like,
I see what you're saying.
So for me, it's a thing that we've discussed before, and we'll be discussing in future episodes, like the next phase of your life.
Yeah,
like, I am moving on to the next phase of my life. I need someone else who's doing that as well, not trying to like start up their life.
Well, and that's a good point, because actually one other thing that came to my mind before you just said that was, I think a part of my thing about not being more than 5 years older is I can't have somebody who's retired or ready to retire.
No.
Because I still want to work. Like, I really enjoy working. I want to continue working.
Well, what if you didn't have to work though?
I would. I'd figure out. I would be doing something.
All right, but it doesn't have to
I'd be doing something
it
that
doesn't have to be an
occupies my
80-year-old Formula One driving owner or whatever that guy does. But what if money really didn't fucking matter? And let's say, my goodness,
So it's someone who's older and he's well established and he's
so
retired
he's
and
70.
he's set.
He is 70, and he's got But don't think about what his chest and balls are going to look like. Like seriously, he is
exactly
70.
what I thought about. It is exactly what I thought about.
Don't think about the wrinkles. Like
it's that. Remember that Sex and the City episode when Samantha dates that older man and he's like 70.
Yeah,
and they have sex and then he walks to the bathroom and his ass is all like wrinkly and stuff. Like, oy.
And that's the thing. Like, think about. Oh my God, it's so wrong. You hinted on something though or we were talking about Hugh Jackman. That was the guy.
Okay.
We were talking about men with older women.
Yeah.
And then I made the joke about wrinkles and balls because that's what I do. Like, I do wonder. Like, I do find older women, distinguished women, sexy as hell.
Right.
But it is like that Sex and the City thing.
I am distinguished.
Okay.
It's what people say about me. I am distinguished.
We're going to block all this out. But the idea that eventually she's going to be naked.
Yeah.
And still being a man, thank God, and being visual, like am I going to be turned on by who she is? Like, sure. I can love her gray hair. I can love how she dresses and how she carries herself. But eventually, we might end up fucking with the lights on. And then you go, oh, man. Like,
what was I thinking?
Exactly.
I should have stayed with Juana.
Yeah, and it's not to say that someone everything needs to be young and firm, because that's kind of completely the opposite. But it's just.
That's not what you're saying.
No, I'm just, and that's the thing. Like, so I wonder. So as I put myself in that position where I go, well, what would be too young? Like,
or what would be too old? Because what did you say? 5?
Yeah,
5 years.
But that wasn't a physical thing. That was more about. No,
but that might be the thing, right? Someone who's 5 years older than you, those physical attributes you were just speaking about might not necessarily be a factor.
No, and maybe that's what it is. Yeah, you're right. Within 5 years, 10 years max, it's going to go, that doesn't really matter.
But what if you're like, okay, imagine this. Imagine you're 65 years old. Let's just say that. At 65 years old, how much older are you willing to go and how much younger are you willing to go? We'll be specific now. Let's create a line in the sand. You're 65 years old. We're not together because I kicked your ass to the curb. Yes. How much older are you willing to go and how much younger are you willing to go at 65?
You want me to be honest?
Oh, only.
You want to be honest?
Do you know how to be anything other than that?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
So let me say, older, probably about the same age, because I can't.
65.
No, 70.
5 years.
Same thing.
Okay.
5 years.
Okay.
I can act like I'm not the same, but if she's depending on my health and wealth, like, I don't know. I don't know. I think the older you get, the more it becomes difficult to just. This is going to sound really horrible, and I hope I don't lose everyone here, but you start treating partners like fucking tissues.
What do you mean?
I've had kids, and I've had the love of my life. So at 65, if some 25-year-old girl thinks I'm fucking really cute, that doesn't mean we're gonna have that's not gonna be the love of my life. You are.
But we were talking about relationships.
I know, but so do you understand what I'm saying? Like, at some point in time, I start going.
Well, maybe that's what Dennis Quaid is doing.
That's what and that's funny you say.
So you're turning around now.
I'm looking like
you're turning around.
I'm looking like
now.
Dennis Quaid, less successful, but somehow better looking.
You're turning around now.
But this is the thing
on what we originally talked about.
But
because you said 5 years above or below.
I know.
So now at 65, you might potentially go for a 30-year-old. Is what you're saying? How?
I'm literally waiting for my fucking attorney to fucking object,
no, because now
you're asking a lot of questions. Where's the judge? No, but what I'm saying is, so when we think about those men when we were mentioning those men who girlfriends or wives are so much younger than them, not the guy who fucking reproducing is a whole different factor.
Yeah,
because
right.
that's unfair to the child, from my opinion. If that's what you want to do, knock yourself out. But I could see how you would just go, like, if this were you posited as my fucking position. I go, my God, I have a wonderful daughter, a wonderful son, and I have married the love of my life. And God forbid something happens to you. Like, everything after a certain age. But hold on. But everything after that is fucking temporary.
Yeah, but that's not what we were talking about. That's not what we were talking about. Well, the idea is this, because that's a completely different conversation, right? If you say, because that implies something has happened to me and we didn't choose to be apart.
Okay, so you kicked me out.
Let's just assume we have chosen now to end our relationship.
Right.
And you're now a 65-year-old man. How much older will you go? And how much younger will you go? Because let's just assume at
current status.
No, at 65, let's just assume we've parted ways, and maybe you even hate me for whatever reason, right?
Your humility is annoying.
No. What I'm saying is that you implied that at 65 you're by yourself because something tragic has happened to me, and you still feel love. Let's remove that from the equation.
Yeah,
remove me. Remove me from the equation. You're 65 years old. And for whatever reason, you are a single person at 65 years old.
Okay.
How much older will you go? And how much younger would you go?
I'll be honest.
to have a relationship.
A relationship?
A loving relationship.
I don't know that I would have a relationship again. I'm not sure, and so that's why
now you're onto something different.
Yeah, I know, and I know it's not. I don't know what. I don't think you were searching for an answer, but that's the thing. Like, I feel like once you've been truly in love, I think it's very reflective of people who have been together and their spouses die young or old or whatever, and they're done. I am truly in love, so if this shit goes sideways, that's fine. It's all I'm you know, what was the Sean Penn quote? Like, I'm all about hookers and blow. Like, I'm fine with fucking kicking it. And
did he say that in a movie or in life?
No, that was no, he lived it in life. That was on Inside the Actor Studio. Gotcha. You know, but it was one of those things, just like, I don't the thing that I feel like so many people are really looking for, even if they're smart, they're looking for connections and friendships and relationships. At 65 years old, we could move to fucking Boca Raton.
Oy.
I'm not looking for new friends. Like, I got Tracy, I got Carlos, I got Duran. I'm good. You know, sorry if I didn't shout out enough names, but this was my boys. But I don't need to I don't need to discover what friendship feels like. I know those fucking dudes. I don't need to discover what it's like to have a child or be a stepfather. I've lived that life. I'm blessed. I also don't need to know what it's like to fall in love and build some type of certain relationship, because I've had you. So it's that thing. It's like, I've lived all those things. Like, I don't need to go search. I don't need to think about, like, all right, I'm 65 now.
But this is not the topic of the conversation. The topic of the conversation is, what is too much of an age gap? What is too much of an age gap?
So my point is,
when you're 65, what would be too much of an age gap? Higher or lower?
And I guess you're correct. I have not answered that question. It really wouldn't fucking matter.
Really?
Because that's just temporary. Who gives a shit?
No, but we're not talking about temporary, Terrence. We're talking about in a relationship.
It's 65 years old. If it's 65 years old, I'm still trying to capture something. I have fucked up. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Don't make it so. That's very deep. Don't make it so deep. Seriously, we're on a fucking podcast. Don't make it so deep.
Sorry.
This is the topic of conversation.
If I'm 65?
If you're 65 years old, what would be too old for you, and what would be too young for you?
45 and 25.
Done. Sold. We got there. We're good.
And shit, I mean, if they're
Do you want to know what it is for me if I'm 65 years old?
no, I think we're out of time, people. Thanks for joining. Yes, okay, yes. Tell me when you're 65 years old. Somehow
70 and 50.
70 is not dropping lead. I just want to throw that out there. That's gonna be the worst sex ever.
This can't be your answer. It's my answer. Why
have-
are you directing? Why are you interjecting? When I'm 65, I would say 70 and 50. Those are my caps. Those are my bookends.
You're gonna tell me, so fuck that. You're gonna tell me at 65 years old. Let's not do the math, but let's just say your son comes to visit.
When I'm 65.
He comes to visit, and no. You go to visit him graduating from law school.
When I'm 65?
I don't know. Maybe he.
No.
Maybe he got. Oh, can I at least set up the?
He's become a judge. He's become a judge at that point.
Okay, so we're both
48.
exaggerating.
He's 48.
So let's say at 65 years old, your son comes to visit, and he's going to meet up with a friend he went to law school with, who is 37, 38 years old. I don't know what the math is, Juana. It's not about the math. It's just like he brings someone his age
Okay.
who lives in your hometown.
Okay.
And son flies back. We never use their names, by the way, Cole. Sorry. So he flies back, and that friend calls you up and just goes, "Hey, you want to get a cup of coffee?" You go, "Oh no, he left. Cole left." He goes, "No, okay, let me stop fucking around. Can I take you to dinner?"
You know what movie this is?
Oh my God! Answer the question. I'm not looking for.
How old is the person? I'm 65, and how old is this person? 48, 40, 50? 48 years old. 48 years old, potentially.
Fuck that then. So
45?
Maybe, let's go. He's 30. He's 35. That's not.
No. I have no interest. I have no interest in that. I don't. I have no interest in that. If I'm interested in a relationship, I have no interest in that. It's too much. 30 years is too much.
He was just.
No,
sometimes even if you're not gonna buy the Lamborghini, there's nothing wrong with driving around the block. Like you wouldn't like.
But that's
hey, let's see what
different.
happened.
That's not what we're talking about. We
I
weren't
didn't
talking
tell me
about.
what we're talking about. I'm just saying, like in the course of our conversation, like would you take that call? That's all I'm saying.
There's a difference between having a relationship with someone and just having a fling with someone. So if you're talking about a fling, well, of course, anybody is open to all opportunities. But if you're talking about a relationship, I can't imagine having a relationship when I'm 65 years old with someone who's 30 years younger than me.
What happens when
can't.
What happens when it gets complicated?
I think that's the name of the movie. It's complicated.
Oh, that's. Oh my
But
God,
go
you
ahead,
brought.
go ahead.
But no, that is the fucking Alec Baldwin movie. Yes, it's but maybe that is what happens. Like you can draw a line in the sand all you want. So I can say, oh yeah, if I'm 65, she has to be this age and she has to be that or that age. But the truth of the matter is what I said. Like, if her daughter shows up, no, I would not want to be around some fucking woman her age. But she calls and she wants to have a drink. All right, I guess I'll go hang out. But
that's different.
But what I'm saying is, it builds. It builds. So what we see from an outsider, what do? We go, Dennis Quaid is with this girl because he wants to feel young and she wants to be around a celebrity. And the truth of the matter might have been like, all right, fuck it, I'm not doing anything. It's a Tuesday, it's raining. Let's go get a drink. And you vibe. And then you go home. And then you don't have sex. But you go home and then you wake up and then it builds from there. And then suddenly you're sitting in this situation where it's fucking a month later and you go, oh my God, I'm 65 years old.
And I think all of that is understandable. I think the question from the very beginning truly was, is it sustainable?
Is any of this shit though? Haven't we been? I'm
not arguing the point. I think it's just a question.
Is it sustainable?
Is it sustainable?
And the one thing that we both know, having been divorced, and recognize the work that goes into building a happy home. It's all hard work.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not saying that it's difficult for us to be married. What I'm saying is you recognize, like, I had to go through I had to live through a marriage falling apart to understand the difficulty of making a relationship work. And now that I've done that, I recognize the difficulty. I'm respectful of it. So while while we're in calm waters and we always live there, it makes me aware that no, rough waters can come out of fucking nowhere.
Of course.
And so once you recognize that, once you recognize that, you go, well, why not give it a shot? So what? She's 27, Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Dennis Quaid hit me up, dude. She's from Evansville.
We're not judging. We were just having conversation.
I was judging.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Drinks with my wife.
Thank you for joining us, but also let us know what's too old.
Yeah.
Do you have an age gap in mind? What would that be?
Yeah. Definitely want to hear that.
We
always want to hear from you.
Is Wanda robbing the cradle?
Maybe. I'm okay with it, though, by the way.
Somebody call the cops.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks for joining Drinks with My Wife. Please be sure to click the subscribe button and rate us on Apple Podcast and Spotify.